Penguin buta.
Ada Pak. Iya deh. Tak balik lah. Dekat je ke school ni? Okay, Assalamualaikum, good afternoon everyone. So, welcome to So welcome to week 10. So we have another 4 more weeks to go before this semester ends. Just a reminder that our final examination will be held in 2 parts. So the first part, part A, will be held on Monday, 11th of January 2021. It's going to be held at 8:30 p.m. So 8:30 p.m. until 9:50 p.m. So 1 hour. And then part B will be held on Wednesday, starting from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. So malam ya. So both parts will be done in the evening. So malam. So don't forget that you have those exams. Everyone is at home, so you may have sick your mind, or you may forgot that you have exams in these 2 days. So please put aside the calendar to remind yourself of the examination. And the next thing, is about your so the next thing is about your final report for 2 months. Okay, Puan Hamizah, you have sent an announcement this afternoon regarding the final report and also the review presentation or video. So if you open Spectrum under 10, there's a link here which will direct you to the materials related to your final report. So excuse me as there's some background noise over here. So what you will find inside this drive are the final report template. So how you're going to access to the rubric, the instructions for the video or montage or vlog is here. This is how you are going to be evaluated. The final report consists of 20 marks, and the marks will be split equally for the final report and also for the montage. So the final report carries 10 marks, and the montage will carry another 10 marks. So if you open the report template, so since most of the things have been mentioned in your proposal, so the points to be included in the the final report is only 5 main sections. Please carefully read the instructions provided in each of the sections. Okay, the main part perhaps is how you fulfill the project objective. You need to show that you have achieved the objective. However, if you did not achieve the objective, that is fine. Let's say that you say you want to raise 1,000 ringgit for the fundraising. You only managed to raise maybe 800 ringgit or 600 ringgit. That is fine. You just put whatever outcome that you have obtained, okay, inside this table here. So this is a table form, so easy for us to view. If you want to make it in another form, it's up to you. But this is an example of how you can present the outcome for each of the objectives. So here, clearly that the first objective has been achieved. So let's say that you could not meet your objective. You can state that you only managed to raise 800 ringgit and this objective was not achieved, and that is fine. If you can't achieve all the objectives that you have set, so that is fine. But try to achieve all of the objectives if you can. But if you cannot fulfill all the objectives, that is fine as well. So chapter 3 is about the activities that you have conducted. So you can put photos and label each of the photo. Okay? You can put photo of you maybe giving talks, or a group photo that you've screen capture from the screen, or things like that. Okay? So whatever activity that has been conducted, you describe them here. And then the reflection section is more about individual work. So in this particular section, you create subsection, where each subsection title is the name of each member. So under each subsection, you need to state these points. Okay, so these points, you can include more things if you want. So your role in the project, what you have learned from the project, the things that work, the things that did not work, how you wish that things could have been done differently, and all these things. And in the video as well, you will also need to state your reflection as well in the video, but only for around 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, each member. So in the report is the more lengthy, detailed reflection. So the one that you will do in the video only is about 20 to 30 seconds. And then you will end it with a conclusion. So that's the report. And for the video or the montage or the vlog, so each group needs to create a video around 4 to 7 minutes. 4 to 7 minutes. It should be engaging, okay, interesting. So at the end, the content, what you want to put in the vlog is open, but you can put, like a presentation of your report. But at the end of the video, or you can scatter the reflection throughout the video as well, up to your creativity. Include the reflection on the project. So the reflection is around 20 to 30 seconds for each member. but it depends on how long you can produce the video as well. So if you still have more time, you can allocate roughly additional more seconds for each member. Their vlog to be included in the video. But the total duration should be around 4 to 7 minutes only for each group. Okay, you can do the vlog like a movie trailer, like an advertisement, like a celebration montage. So be creative in this, and so it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so marks shall be given based on the creativity of the video that you have produced. Okay. So if you want to know more detail, okay, please open the this particular link. It has been shared. I'll just copy the link here. Okay, so that is the link to the shared folder that contains the final report template and also the instructions for the vlog. Okay, and also the evaluation rubric, what will be assessed, okay, in the final report and also the vlog. So if you have a question, please interrupt me. If not, I'll just continue. Okay, this one, so the final exam. Okay, remember 2 parts, A and B, 11th of January and 13th of January, Monday and Tuesday, malam, okay, malam. So remember that. Okay, so also on my just to remind on the announcement that I have made last week regarding your project. So if you require e-certificates, okay, I put it in the file section. Okay, so inside this folder, so there's 2 types of certificate. Certificate of appreciation is where the certificate will be given to the collaborator. Okay, so so you will put the name of the collaborator here, your project title, and the date. Okay, so leave these 2 signatures blank, okay, as I will insert the signatures for you. Okay, so if you want to give, but I highly recommend, if you want to give a certificate to your collaborator, okay, put the name of the company, your project title, and date in this template. And then we have certificate of participation. This is basically for you, okay, for you for participating in a Sulam project. Okay, so you can insert the title of the project. Okay, put the name of the collaborator here, and also when. This will be your name. Okay, so put your name here. Okay, so name, the project title, the name of the collaborator, and also the date. And then after you have done this, okay, so you can go to, for example, this particular group. Okay, create a folder. Okay, here create a folder name. ESET. Okay, so in the file section, in the file section of your group team channel, create a folder named eserts and upload all the eserts that you have edited in this particular folder, okay, in your own group section, okay. So for Cat Batik, under Cat Batik and so on. And then, as I have stated before, you can claim up to 50 ringgit for internet and data plan usage. Again, create a file named claims in the file section of your group channel. And then rename the receipt as your own name. Okay? Rename the receipt or the statement as your own name. And then upload the receipt or the statement in the claims folder. If the amount exceeds 50 ringgit, you can only get a maximum of 50 ringgit. Okay, so the final report in the video, I have just given you where you can find those information. Okay. All right. So, any question? Ada soalan? There's no such thing. I just want to start various account. Okay, Azra is asking if the receipt is under parents' account. You can just try. You can just try to put it in the folder, but then we need to relate you with the. I'm not sure how we can do that. I'll ask my other colleagues about this, and I'll let you know later. Okay, what date should be put in the insert? So when you conducted the activity. So if it's a 1 day event or 2 day event, you can put the dates of the event. If you are doing fundraising where it's a certain period, right? You can put the range of dates as well. Or you can put the date of week when you're supposed to. Okay, for things such as fundraising, okay, you can put according to the course information, you're supposed to conduct your activity on week 12, right? On week 12. So you can put the date of our class on week 12, which is week 12 will be 4th of January. Sorry, it's 11? No.
Chapter 11 is protection from pregnancy and
Sorry. So either week 11 or week 12. Okay, if it's a fundraising event that you are conducting, or the last date of the fundraising can be put as a date as well. So it's up to you, as long as it's within this 14 week lecture period. Okay. If you don't have any specific dates, for example, for fundraising, so you can use any of these dates. either our class is going to be 11, 12, or the last day of the fundraising event. Okay. Okay, Hardik is asking names in Word format. The format that you need to put inside the folder should be PDF. The, the, the file that you should return to me should be in PDF. So if you can use a PDF editor to add names in the search. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so if there's no question, as promised, I will give comments on thoughts that you have given the last previous, I think 4 weeks. Okay. Okay. So I'm recording this. Okay. So we have done quite a number of talks in the last few weeks. Okay, but which talk that you remember the most? Okay. So out of the 30 plus, I think 30 or 40 or so plus talks that we have gone through, okay, which talk do you remember the most? So go to this website, www.menti.com, and use the code 4597426. So you don't need to have a space between the numbers there, just for easy readability. So go to this website and enter the keyword from the talk that you remember the most. Can you do that now? Okay. So go to this particular website. And use the code. Sorry. Okay, go to that particular website. Use that particular code and enter the keyword from the talk that you remember the most. Okay, so, of course, apart from your talk, okay, so apart from your own talk, so the other talks that you remember the most, you enter the keywords from that particular website. This website. Okay, we'll go to that website, menti.com, use that particular code. and to enter the keywords from the talks that you remember the most. Okay, so far, okay, so based on around 30 plus respondents, so we had Shark. I think Nepal's talk was the most that you remember the most. Okay, so we have Shark and then followed by Introvert and also Zombie there. I can also see Manu's talk about his about Heartbreaker, if I'm not mistaken. Manu's talk is also one of the most remembered talk. But so it's obvious here that Nepu's talk about Shark managed to gain your attention. Okay. Okay. But, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay. And I would admit that yeah, Nepu's talk is also one of the talks that I remember. Okay, from the last from the 30 or so talks that we had. So the task assigned to you was to present and also to ask questions. Okay, so I will comment on the presentation first, and then followed by the questions that you asked to the presenter. Okay, in the talk, okay, there are some of you who put points in the slides, okay, and then the elaboration will be done by the presenter verbally. So only the key points is put in the slides. I think this is a good approach because you will highlight the key points to the audience. Okay, so if the audience wants to know more, the audience needs to listen to your explanation. Okay. If you put like a lot of words on the slides, people would tend to read them. Okay? And when people read, they probably would not be able to hear your explanation that you have given. So for certain kind of presentations, it's good to provide only the key points, and then you elaborate verbally in your talk. Okay? Avoid long sentences because especially if it fill up the entire slides, okay, people will just read the slide and then whatever that you say during your presentation may be lost to the audience. Okay? And don't just read the whatever is on the slide word by word as well, because people can read. If you read the same thing, then you can just give the slide to them for them to read. Okay? But of course you can put like short sentences to accompany the points that you gave in the slide. Okay? But don't put too much words in one particular slide. But if you just give the points, okay, in your slides, if you want to give the reader something, okay, you can give them a more elaborate form of explanation. So the slides only highlight the key points. So the material that you gave to the audience contain the more elaborate explanation. Okay? So that would be a better approach than to just put everything on the slide, which is identical to whatever material that you provided to the audience. Because if the audience wants to know more, they can read the material that you have given. Props. So, like Nepu used a filter, a sharp filter. Okay. So one of the great things about that is that if you want to stress a certain topic, so as evident by the keywords that you guys have presented, sharp is the most remembered topic from all the talks that have been given. Why? Because the topic that Nepu was talking about was about sharp, and he's using the sharp filter to stress his topic, and also to seek attention from the audience, which I think he managed to do so successfully. And I'm still waiting for the Instagram filter from Nepu to use in Instagram. And we also have speakers that reinforce the points at the end of the talk, which is very good. So you have maybe you have 3 or 4 points that you taught during your presentation, and at the end of the talk, you kind of summarize what you have taught in the last 5 minutes or so. So it's a good thing. So it's kind of something to remind the audience of the key points that you have mentioned in your talk. So it's a good thing to do. I could not remember on top of my head now who did that, but some of you actually done this. Okay? To remind the audience of the key point. I think that we did the same thing as well. It's okay. I forgot already. But so to re-stress the points at the end of the talk, it's also a good thing. And time. Okay. So there I think most of you adhere to the time. So just nice. So when it's around 4 minutes, nearly 5 minutes, you are already wrapping up the talk or finish just in time. Okay, which is good. There were few of you who gone over the limit just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit over the time limit, and a few of you gone the extra minute. I think more than maybe total was, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. So if you're given a slot, okay, imagine that there's a program and you're one of the invited speakers in the program. Okay, you really need to respect or abide by the time limit given by the organizer. Okay, because typically in a program we have an agenda. Okay, so the organizer may have another agenda after you talk. So in order not to disrupt what has been planned by the organizer, so it's very important for you to stick to the time limit that has been allocated for your talk. Okay. So in future presentations where you need to do an online presentation, for example, put a timer next to you, okay, put a clock next to you so that you know how much time you have left in your presentation. Okay. Please practice to limit your talk based on the limit given by the organizer. And in a talk as well, a few of you put quotations from famous people, okay, and also we provided statistics of certain events. The ideal case, ideally, okay, it's good if you can provide the references where you got the quotes, where you got the statistics from. Okay. Why we need to do such thing, or why citing the original source is important, to avoid misleading the audience to take something that something which is originally an opinion as facts. Okay. So the source of reference so the information that you obtain may come from a book, from a research article that you have read, from a news article, from a social media post by a particular person, a media statement, an article from a magazine. Okay, you can put either a small caption under at the bottom of the slides, or at the end of your presentation. You can put a list of references that you have used in your talk. Okay. So you know that whatever information that we have given the audience are substantiated, okay? Are based on facts and not based on our own beliefs, things like that. Okay. Okay, so those are some of the things that I want to comment in the presentation. And also regarding the questions that you asked to the presenter. Okay. A few of you asked questions where the answers were already in the talk. Okay. So if you listen to the talk carefully, the answer to the question that you have asked actually already been explained by the presenter. Okay. So there are questions where the answers were already given in the talk. So probably due to network connection problems, due to other distractions, since everyone is at home at the moment, so the questioner may miss the point. Okay, might miss the point. That's why he asked the question, or probably did not pay attention to the talk. So I'm not saying that you did not pay attention, but these are in the general case. Okay, these are probably why people ask such questions. Okay? And that is probably why stressing your point at the end of your presentation is a good idea. Okay? To stress on the points that you have previously spoken. And when the person asks questions that are directly related to the talk, for example, how long did you take to master the language? So the talk is about mastering a particular language, for example, and then that is directly related to the talk. So there are also questions that are indirectly related. Okay, for example, if I'm not mistaken, was talking about Ronaldo, and then he showed a picture of Ronaldo with his son, and the questioner asked who is the mother of who the presenter thinks was or is the mother of his son. But so it's indirectly still has, even though that is not the points that the speaker wants to stress, but he asked that kind of question. Okay. So it's just a general comment. Nothing wrong of the question if it's directly related or indirectly related. That is fine. So it's just a comment on the question that you asked. Okay. Okay. Any question? I don't think we have any question. Just my own comments. Again, if you have any comments, just type anything in the chat, okay? Or you can just speak up. Okay. So this week's lecture is actually about arguments. Okay, about arguments. It's part of critical thinking as well. Okay? It's part of critical thinking. So the slides are already on Spectrum, and I have prepared an accompanying additional slides. This is related to the topic that we're gonna go through. Hopefully not excessively today. Okay. First off, I'm not actually an expert on critical thinking. Okay? So these the information that I'm going to share with you actually mostly came from a Coursera course, okay? Offered by Duke University by Professor Walter Sirot Armstrong. Okay? He's from Duke University. Professor Ramnita is from University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So if you have the time, if you are interested to learn more about critical thinking, about arguments, you can check out the course, which is free. Okay? It's part of the Think Again series. So you can go to Coursera, search for how to understand arguments, and you will. So this the next set of slides are actually based on early sections from this particular course. Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you, Munir, for the link. Okay. So if you look up the dictionary, okay. For example, Lexico is an online website where the entries are provided by the Oxford from the Oxford Dictionary. If you look up the definition of argument, there are several definitions, but I will highlight two definitions here. As a noun, okay, an argument is an exchange of diverging or opposite views, typically a heated or angry one. Basically, bergaduh lah, right? You're fighting with another person or more than one person. So you have opposing views. Okay, those two parties may have opposing views, and the exchange is a heated one. An example of a usage of this particular word: I've had an argument with my father, meaning that this particular person just had a fight with his father. And then another example sentence: heated arguments over public spending. So the public may be mad that the government is spending money on unnecessary things. Okay, so there was a heated argument over public spending. Okay, so these are examples of sentences that I obtained from this particular website. And this definition of argument is not the one that we're going to look at in this course. Okay? So this is not the definition of argument that we're going to look at in this course. Instead, we're going to look at the second definition, okay, which is a reason or set of reasons given in support of an idea, action, or theory. So you have an idea, okay, and then you need to give reasons to support the idea. If you look at the slides on Spectrum, so an argument contains a claim, Okay? The claim can be an idea, and then support by then you have premises. Okay? So these premises are are used to support the claim or the idea, and then there's a conclusion. Okay? Conclusion. So based on the reasons, based on the premises given, um, the claimer make a conclusion, and we need to decide for ourselves, okay, whether the argument given by the other person is a valid argument, okay, and an argument that we want to take, or for example, he's presenting an idea, whether we want to believe his idea or not, okay, things like that. Okay? So, example usage for this particular definition, so there's a strong argument for submitting a formal appeal. Okay, for example, when the court has found you guilty of corruption, and your lawyers may say to you that, okay, I think that there's a strong argument for us to submit a formal appeal to the judge. Okay, for example. So, and then another example that he rejected the argument that keeping the facility would be costly. So he rejected the argument or the reasons given to support the claim that if you keep the facility, it will be costly. So this is the definition the meaning of argument that we're gonna use in this course. Okay, and if you look at the slide, if you open the slide, like I mentioned to you, so an argument contains a claim, okay, and then a set of sentences or premises to support the claim and the conclusion. Okay. Okay, so why do we want to study arguments? Okay, why is it important for us to study arguments? Okay, we want to study arguments because we want to have reasons about the things that we believe and the things that we do. For example, if you want to believe that the earth is flat, okay, for example, so you need to have reasons that would justify you to support that particular claim or idea. Okay? Just for the sake of example, and if you think vaccines are bad, okay, if you think vaccines are bad or good, okay, you want to have reasons to pick either of those choices. Okay? So in our community, okay, so we have people that are anti-vaccine, but to tone down that they are actually destructive, they use the term pro-life, okay, for example. So these are the things that we want to have a clear mind, an objective mind, in order for us to believe a particular argument or not. Okay? So things like this, we don't want to take them lightly. Okay? So that so whatever argument given by that particular person is a valid argument to us. Okay? And arguments are ways to express reason. Okay? Ways to express reason. And there are many ways to express reasons. Okay? The reasons provided, okay, may be a valid one, may not be a valid one, or the reasons provided may be good reasons, may be bad reasons. Okay? So that's why we need to be mindful of these things. So if you have good arguments, okay, if you can form good arguments, then you can have good reasons to believe in something or to do something. Okay? So for example, in the United States, so we have juries, right? If you look at their movies or their TV shows, uh, when the case is presented, we have a panel of jury. So we may become one of the jury members, okay? And the lawyer may present his case, may provide a set of arguments for his to either to prosecute someone, okay, or to defend someone. Okay? As a member of the jury, you need to be able to um, separate good arguments from bad arguments. Okay? Yeah, just as an example. And 2 days ago, a friend told me that um, she read somewhere about an article stating that vaccines are actually agendas to make humans something like zombies, okay? So that they would obey to certain group of people in the new world order. And we actually have people that believe in such ideas, okay? And you maybe wonder why, okay? Later, actually next week is about logical fallacies, but uh, I will describe a bit about logical fallacies today. That the claimer, okay, the person who's trying to persuade you, may have actually commit logical fallacies. Okay, logical fallacies. So these logical fallacies are actually it seems it's actually the main aim is for you to buy his or her idea. Okay? But they are actually, if you look at it in an objective way, they are actually false. Okay? They are actually not a good reasoning. Okay? Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned about always talk about how we can survive the zombies apocalypse. So so they may be one day a group of zombies who's gonna attack us in the future. So, okay. So we need to identify whether an argument is bad or not, so that we can avoid making mistakes. Okay, for example, we want to avoid choosing the wrong decision when we want to decide whether to buy something. Okay, and the price the price of that particular thing that you want to buy is not cheap. It may be an expensive thing, so we don't want to make the wrong decision of buying that particular thing that we are contemplating of buying. Taking the wrong action. Okay. If you are in charge, if you're a manager of a particular company and you need to make decisions or you need to take action, okay, after hearing arguments made by your staff, you need to make you need to make a decision. Okay, so that's why it's important for you to identify whether our staff is actually making a bad argument. Or if you are listening to a preacher, okay, a preacher who's talking about other religion than your own, so whether you want to believe him or not. Okay, so adopting a new religion is also something that is not to be taken lightly. So it's a major thing because it involves your belief system. So it's also important in that particular case. And if your friends are inviting you to a trip of a lifetime to Seoul, Korea, okay, and your friend said, okay, let's next year, jom pergi Korea, for example. So whether to join your friend's trip to Korea, because it involves money, it involves your time. Okay, so the reasons provided by your friends, okay, are they actually valid, good reasons or not? Okay. Okay. Assume that you are a seller that sells this PS5. Okay. This is the digital edition of the new PS5 console. So what are the reasons that you will give to me in order to persuade me to buy this particular console? Can you write down in the chat of the reasons of why I should buy this PS5? You assume that you are a seller of this console. Okay. So what are the reasons that what are the reason that you can give me, okay, in order for you to sell this console? Okay. So it provides backward compatibility. You can play PS4 games as well. To show off to other people. Is that Adam? Can play game in 4K resolution with just 1K plus. Because I don't have a PS5. Okay. The loading time for 5 times faster than the PS4. Okay. Lagi. So what are the other reasons? Assume that you're gonna get a certain percentage as commission. Okay? As a seller, you probably get commission by selling this, but based on the number of consoles that you have sold. Got Spider-Man. Okay. So PS5 has the Miles Morales game, is it? And Xbox does not have that particular game. I want to. Alright, World of War 6 is coming. Okay, so these are all reasons that you may provide to your potential buyer for the buyer to buy this particular console. Okay. Okay, assume now that you are a friend who's also a fan of the PS5 and you're not selling the console. Okay, for example, you're my friend and I'm considering of buying this PS5. Okay, so would you provide me with the same reasons as the seller? So are the reasons similar or the same as the reason given by the seller? Okay, yes. So Haziq said that buy so that he can also play. Right? So basically the reason would be similar. Okay, is similar. Um, sharing is caring. Okay, so what's the difference between the reasons provided by the seller and the reasons provided by you as a friend who's not the seller? What's the impact of, for example, me buying it versus me not buying it? So if I buy the PS5 console, as the seller of this particular console, you really want me to buy it because you can get, for example, you can get commission. So this is one of the purpose of arguments. Okay? So one of the purpose of argument is to persuade someone. Okay? In order to persuade someone, you would use arguments. And if you're selling things, for example, like this PS5 console, you may provide bad arguments in order for that particular person to buy. Okay? And separately. Okay, is it? Because I don't have PS5. The assumption is probably so a lot of people have PS5, so you should also buy the PS5 as well. That's actually a logical fallacy for bandwagon. Bandwagon meaning that the majority is doing it, so you should also join the bandwagon as well. Yeah, assuming that most people have this particular console. So it has an impact on the seller if we don't buy the console. Okay? He might lose his commission, or he may fail to achieve his target. So as a friend who's giving his opinion whether or not for me to buy this particular console, so you're actually giving providing justification to me. Okay? So this is according to this Coursera course, right, by Deep University. So the first reason of using argument is to persuade someone, okay? And this is the second reason, to justify something. Okay? If I don't buy this PS5, it does not have a big impact on you as a friend because you're not selling this console, you're not selling this PS5 to me. However, if you are someone like Haziq, okay, Haziq has an intention where he also wants to play this particular console, so he may instead trying to persuade me to buy this particular console. So he's not merely justifying. So he's actually persuading me to buy it because if I buy it, it has a positive impact on him because he can also play this console. Okay. So these are the two out of three reasons why what argument is for. Okay, why do we use argument? Okay, to persuade someone, to justify something. Okay, and okay, the third one. If someone asks you, okay, why the color of this particular console is black and white. So how would you answer? Okay, why is the color of the PS5 console is a theme of black and white? So can you put any time in the chat if you were to answer this particular question? So Okay, it's futuristic. Looks different than the previous generation. Okay, because it's sleek. Okay, so this is the third the third purpose of argument, which is to explain. Okay? Explain something. So the something is both you and I agree, which is the console is in black and white. So there's no disputing that. There's no disputing that the console is in black and white. So as if you're trying to persuade or justify something, okay, so we haven't made the decision yet. We haven't made the decision to buy the console yet. So that's the um, the subtle difference between explanation and if you want to persuade or if you want to justify something. If you try to explain something, that something is both you and I need to agree first, okay? Or things that has already happened. For example, why is our uh, what do you call that? Hari Kebangsaan apa? National Day. Why is our National Day is on the 31st of August? So explaining the thing. So 31st August, both you and I agree that is the date of our national or Independence Day, of our Independence Day, right? So there's no disputing that. So we're just trying to provide reasons why 31st of August was chosen as the date of the Independence Day. Okay, so three main purpose: to persuade someone, to justify something, and also to explain something to someone. And when giving arguments, actually not necessarily need to have another person. Maybe you're justifying it, you're talking to yourself, okay? Not because you're crazy, it's just something that something that you that lingers on your mind, okay? Whether you want to buy this PS5 or not, okay. Okay, so so any question? If you have any question again, please um, put in the chat or just you can speak up. Okay? And I'm not going to go through every slide, okay? Because I think the slides you can read the information in the slide, so I'll just highlight the things that I think should be highlighted. So we have looked at the two definitions according to the dictionary, okay? But for this course, the claim is, an argument is a claim, so defended with reasons. Okay, and these reasons composed of one or more premises and a conclusion. So a claim is something that you want to determine whether it's true or false. Okay. The premises are the reasons. Okay. And the conclusion is an inference assumption to make a connection between the reasons, okay, and the claim. Okay. So the conclusion basically states whether the claim is true or false. So for example, the first sentence: students in FSKTM like programming code. So is this a claim? So is the first statement a claim? Yes, because it can be true or false, right? So something that is not a claim, please shut the door behind it. It's not a claim because, right, you can't say that it's true or false. Right? Claim is something that is either true or false. And the reasons given to support this claim may be that the 90% of the students in the class passed the exam, in the programming class, passed the exam. So this is the example of a premise used to support the claim. And so the conclusion is that most of the students in LSPTN like programming code. So this is an example of a structure of an argument. So you have a claim, and then you have a set of premises. So these premises, you can have more than one premises in order to support your claim. And then typically there would be a conclusion to link the premises given to the claim. Okay. So when we evaluate an argument, we need to identify whether the things stated are assumptions, whether there's a contradiction in the argument. Within fact, whether it's a fact or an opinion, whether it's a bias, and also the third and the fifth point are actually the same. And as a disclaimer, I did not make the slide. I did not make the slide. But, okay, the third point, okay, distinguish between fact and opinion. This happened when you read news, for example, news articles or blog posts or social media posts. You need to distinguish, in the case of a news article, you need to distinguish whether it's a fact or the opinion of the writer, okay, writing that piece of article. You can probably find this if you're reading an article that is biased towards one opinion or one party or one entity. Okay? So sometimes the writer's opinion or the newscaster's opinion, okay, when you watch news on the TV, okay, you need to distinguish whether the newscaster is providing facts or is it just his or her own opinion or the opinion of his producer. But basically, you need to distinguish that. Okay? And during, I'm not sure now, but during the previous two administration, during the previous two administration, so if you watch the news, sometimes they would put their own opinion in reporting something. Okay, so they have a certain opinion, and they state that in the news. Because typically some people believe everything that is reported in the news. Okay, so whatever, if it's on the news, meaning that it's true, but it's not necessary, right? So I think you as the you guys were born when? Is it 2000? Is it? I think most of you were born in the year 2000. Am I right? So I think your generation, I think, have, in my opinion, does not blindly believe everything that they watch or see on TV or read on the internet. I think you guys have, can distinguish that. But of course, we have varying levels of varying degrees how we can identify this. But I think your generation would not blindly believe everything that you watch or read on the internet. And when people give opinion, okay, they have certain biases. Okay? So you need, these two things need to be, you need to be able to distinguish. Okay? Especially if you're into politics. Okay? So in politics, it's really messy. Each one has their own biases towards certain ideas or certain people, and sometimes we mix facts and also opinion. So I hope when you want to be involved in politics, you don't mix between facts and opinion or assumptions. So the first one is just an assumption. Okay, why people want to teach is because they can have their afternoon free. That is our own assumption to why teaching is rewarding. Okay? There may be other reasons as well. Okay? And the second one is a contradiction because if you say that my card has been produced with the most secure technology, why it has been cloned before? Okay, so if you are claiming that my card has the most secure technology, it should have been cloned even once. So the first one is just an opinion. Okay, some might say it's a beautiful mountain, some might say not. Okay. So the second one is a fact. The highest peak in South Asia is Mount Kinabalu. And the third one is a bias. Okay. So this particular slide here is related to the three purposes of forming an argument: to persuade others, okay, like the seller, um, okay, wants to sell you the PS5. Making decisions is basically you want to justify something, okay, justifying, and these are explanation, okay? Explanation. For example, in this particular example, late. So the meeting starts at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. So if that person arrives 10 minutes past 10, so obviously he's late. So that is something that both parties agree that that particular person is late, and the reason ensure should be something should be to give reasons why that person is late. Okay. And sometimes the claim itself, okay, like for example here, all Malaysians like badminton, but this is not necessarily true, right? So later you will look at the types of arguments that people make. Okay, you have deductive and inductive. So I'm just going to skip this. So it's just identifying whether something is a premise or not. So whether something is a conclusion or not. So explanation. Okay. So for this last point here, not argument. I don't think I agree that it's not an argument. It is an argument, but it's not. The reason is not to persuade. Okay? The reason um, may be this is trying to justify. Okay? This is justifying something. Okay? Justifying why the economy is doing so well. So it's the one of the three purposes of using arguments. Okay, of course, it's not to persuade, but it's to justify something. These are all non-arguments. So there's no premises, okay, and conclusion. Okay, then we have inductive and deductive arguments. Okay. So there are two types. So the premises are you can provide more than one premises, right? And the deductive type is that if all the premises given are true, the conclusion must be true. Okay? And inductive is that if all the premises given are true, the conclusion is probably true. Okay? So there are 5 common patterns in deductive arguments and 6 common patterns in inductive arguments. Uh, uh, yeah, so this is it. Inductive argument. So it's actually about logic. Okay? Logic. For example, if A then B, so this is modus ponens. So if I study, if A is if I study, then I will pass. Okay? So if you study, then you will pass. So this is how people can form arguments. Okay? So if A is true, then B is true as well. Okay, the conclusion is true. Then there are other patterns. If you see in the slide, okay, but there are conclusions made that are actually invalid, okay, as we will see later. So I hope you can read. Okay, you can read this slide. Okay, this slide. So if A then B, if it's not B, it's not A. Okay? Okay. Okay, the arguments made can be valid, okay, and can be invalid as well. Okay. For example, look at the second one. So all fruits are vegetables. Okay. Semua buah-buahan ialah sayur-sayuran. So this is in itself is a false premise. And then it says spinach is a fruit, then therefore spinach is a vegetable. The conclusion is true, okay, but the premises given are wrong. Okay? But according to this particular slide, okay, this is considered valid argument. Okay? Valid argument. So you need to be able to detect, okay, whether the premises given are true, okay, in order to believe the conclusion given by the claimant. Okay. Mm. Mm. So for inductive arguments, okay, it typically use these term many, most, okay, because the conclusion is probably true. Okay. So the networks must probably be down. Okay. I think something is missing here. Mm. So here the conclusion is has the word probably, okay, probably. This is inductive argument. Hmm. The argument may be actually the claimant may commit logical fallacies, which are actually state in order to deceive you into believing into something, okay? Which we will look at next, which is supposed to be next week topic, but we're going to look at it. We're going to look at it briefly today. So the sites are in spectrum. Okay. So fallacy means to deceive, to trick, or to lead into error, or to trick someone. Okay. It's used to cloud our thinking, okay, appeal to our emotion. So some of the fallacies actually appeal to our emotion rather than our intellect. For example, if the seller, okay, wants to sell the PS5, he may use the reason that you will look good buying it, or if the seller wants to sell you the car, okay, the car is as beautiful as you, okay, for example. Okay. Or the seller may use pickup lines that he learned in order to persuade that person to buy the car that he's selling. That is actually appeal to uh, appeal to appeal to flattery. Okay? Appeal to flattery, meaning that that person tries to flatter you, okay, in order for you to buy the car that he's selling or the things that he wants to sell to you. And logical fallacies typically is committed by someone who is biased into something. Okay? Who is biased into I say this mostly in some, if it's related to politics. Okay? In politics, normally people would commit logical fallacies. Okay? So there are several categories of logical fallacies. Okay. It's important for us to detect what there is a fallacy, okay, in order to avoid making mistakes. Okay, like the reason why we need to learn arguments. Okay, we want to avoid making mistakes, making the wrong decisions. If it involves something big, okay, you don't want to take things lightly. Okay? So there are fallacies that appeal to our emotions, fallacies that distract, and others. Okay? So let's briefly look at it. So the first type of logical fallacy is appealing to fear or scare, using scare tactics. Okay? So a seller or someone may make threats, okay, so that we uh, to force us to believe into something or to do something, okay, to appeal to what we fear, okay, in order for us to buy the product that he's selling or voting for him, okay, for example. So in as a mom or as a friend, you may maybe not friend maybe as a mom, okay, trying to force his kid to eat vegetables. So you can say that if you don't finish your vegetables, you will get cancer. Or if you don't forward his email to 10 friends, you will get you will be hit by a car or things like that. Okay? So these are all scare tactics. Okay? Scare tactics. So it's done in order for you to do something, or in the case of eating this vegetable, or it is used to prevent you from doing something. Okay? For example, you should not publish that because the previous editor has been fired for publishing that material. So they use scare tactics. So for example, if you lose your job, okay, you don't have any source of income. So that's the scare tactics that they use in order for you not to do the things that you initially want to do. For example, publish something that may involve people at the top. Okay. Okay. And appeal to flattery. Okay. Appeal to flattery basically wants to make you feel special. Okay. So they will use persuasive languages. Okay. So if you were to own that car, Okay, you may look very stylish. Okay, so these appeal to flattery. Okay? So if you live with your friends in a rented house, you want your friend to continue washing dishes, you can say that if you continue washing dishes, I mean, you will certainly upgrade your skill at washing dishes, for example, or you're just so good at the memuji, okay? Puji his friend, praise his friend, okay, in order for him to do something that you were supposed to do. Okay? Okay, so you look younger behind the wheel. Okay, so this is logical fallacies that appeal to flattery. Okay? Mm, Peer pressure or bandwagon or appeal to numbers. Basically, um, if most of the people do it, okay, you should do it too. Okay, so this is called bandwagon. Okay, so the basis of the argument is based on popularity. So everyone else is doing it, why you're not doing it? Or everyone else has already bought this product, why haven't you done so? Okay, you follow the crowd. Okay? Mm, okay. So if you want to sell something, okay, yes.
Yes.
So someone asking, second. So you ask something? Okay. Hmm, tak ada. Hmm. So the first one, millions of people smoke, so maybe the majority of people smoke, then it must not be bad. So you don't have millions of people dying immediately every year, for example. Um, so the second one is implicitly implying that if you don't wash, if you want to be a millionaire, then you're not smart people. Okay? Mm. So if you like certain types of music, so but your friends, most of your friends prefer different genre. Okay? So due to peer pressure, you don't want to reveal that you like, for example, classical music. Mm. Okay, appeal to pity. So we evoke the emotions of people. Okay? Kesian dia. Okay? For example, okay, we should re-elect Mr. Fauzi because his wife has just died. His crippled mother lives with him, so he needs to take care of his mother. And so, so if we pity of Mr. Fauzi, okay, we may vote for him because we are pity that his wife just died. Then he lives with his crippled mother. But this is not a valid reason for you to vote Mr. Fauzi as your MP, okay, as a member of parliament. So people may trigger your emotion, okay, for you to pity this person, this Mr. Fauzi, in order for you to vote for him. But actually, these are fallacious arguments. Okay, okay, argument, and then fallacies that distract from the main issue. So you have this issue, and then you distract people from this main issue into another issue. Okay? The first one is ad hominem. Ad hominem. Instead of attacking or instead of commenting on the idea given by the person, you attack the person's personality, his beliefs, his affiliation, his ethnicity, but nothing to do with the argument that he's making. Okay? You're not giving a critique on the idea itself. Instead, you focus on something else that he likes to drink, okay, alcohol or things like that. So those are other issues. Okay, we need the focus of the person may be on, for example, the rate of unemployment. Okay, for example, the unemployment rate, which is high. Okay, and then suddenly other persons state another issue, attack his personality. Okay, so instead of focusing on the unemployment issue, so the issue is moved into a different issue. Okay, saying that he's involved in corruption, that his father is the CEO of whatever company. Okay, so nothing to do directly with the issue at hand. And okay, the first one example, this Mr. Latif presented a proposal, and tak kena mengena, he said that he just divorced his wife, so his proposal must not be a good proposal. So you're attacking that person, that the personality of that person. Okay. Okay, red herring. It happens a lot as well. Okay, you divert to a different issue. Okay, from the original issue. Okay. Okay. If you are passionate about pandas that becoming extinct, okay, and then someone suddenly say that why are you focusing on this panda issue? Because you should focus on the homeless people. Okay? So these are two different issues. Okay? You can't focus on every single issue, right? So you need to focus on the issues that you are passionate about. Okay? For example, you're passionate about wildlife, okay, about animals that are going extinct, and then suddenly you say that you should not focus on this issue, you should focus on another issue. Like if you remember last time when Dr. Mazli was the education minister, he talked about using hotel swimming pool as a place where people can learn to swim. Okay, and I have a friend who was not pro the government. He commented on the issue. He said that Dr. Mazli should actually focus on the student to ratio issue. Okay? The student teacher to student ratio issue. But teacher to student ratio, and using swimming pool as one of the places that you can use to learn swimming are two different issues. And this is blatantly is a red herring. Okay? You focus on another issue, but that is one issue. This is another issue. And this particular person that made this comment is a PhD holder, basically. So So someone who has a PhD holder sometimes is uh, not necessarily he has the right state of mind on every issue, okay, including myself lah. Yeah, but no one is perfect, of course. But we should try avoid these kind of fallacies ourselves. Okay? Okay? Don't commit these logical fallacies. Okay, strawman. Strawman is basically you what's the term? Yeah, you oversimplifying the argument, you exaggerating something, okay, which is not the points or the original point made by that person. Okay, for example, those who favor gun control also favor disarming the police. Okay, the person is pro. This is typically in the U.S. Okay, because in the U.S. You have the right to possess guns. Let's say that this particular person is a gun control person. Okay, so wants the issue of gun control to be taken seriously, to be maybe restricted. But that person does not say that he's also favor of disarming the police. Of course, the police needs to have guns, but normal people, okay, apart from the police, apart from the army, do not necessarily need to have limitless access to guns, okay, for example. So the person who commits a strawman, actually make this assumption or this conclusion. Okay, that person may favor gun control, but it does not necessarily favor disarming the police. So favor disarming the police is the claim or the conclusion made by the one who does a strawman fallacy. Okay, so in a research scene, okay, so if you're familiar with academic writing, okay, we have in an article we have a list of authors. Okay, typically the first author has the major contribution. Okay, typically, but not in all cases. So this green guy wants to be the first author. Then the second one says that, oh, then we want to be famous. Do you? Okay, so he's over exaggerating the issue. He's exaggerating the issue. The second one as well. Okay, the second one as well. So be careful of oversimplifying, exaggerating an issue, because you're actually committing the strawman logical fallacy. So you're misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to refute. Okay? So basically, based on this guy with the beard, that this green guy would favor fame more than science. So it's easier to refute that way. Okay? And then we have back in the question, meaning that the conclusion is drawn from the premise. It's like this. Okay. Murderers should be executed. Why? Because they are killers. So if you're circular, you're begging the question. You're not going anywhere. So you're in circles. Okay? So yeah, murderers are by definition killers. So but the reason is not evident here. Okay, why murders should be executed? Because by definition, murderers are killers. So you go back to you're not going anywhere. Okay? So why Aladdin is your hero? Because he acts heroically. So this is also diagonal the question. The domino effect or snowball argument or slippery slope. If you take one action, it will lead to a chain of reactions. So if you take one action, it will lead to a series of actions where the end result is typically negative. Negative conclusion. It will lead to a negative conclusion. So if you do this, then you get this, and then you do this, you do that. So it's a chain of reaction. Okay. So for example, other example. Okay, come back to this. False dilemma. You only giving that person only two options. Okay, when in fact you have more than one option, more than two options. It's either you're with me or you're against me. So in fact, you are given two choices, but in reality, there are actually more than two choices. Okay? So this is a false dilemma. This is a false dilemma. Yeah, nothing over there. Okay, hasty generalization is about, of course, you generalizing it based on a small sample. Maybe most of your friends have or the people that you have met believe in A. Okay? Then it might lead you to the conclusion that everyone basically, for example, most of the people that you have met prefer A. Okay? A can be anything. Prefer Pakatan Harapan, for example, PH. And then you can say that most Malaysians prefer PH or Pakatan Harapan. But those arguments are valid because you only met maybe a few, just a small, very small portion of the population. You can't make that as a generalization. Okay? You don't make hasty generalization based on a small sample. Okay? Or insufficient evidence. Okay? Okay, burden of proof. Only because something has not been proven to be true does not necessarily mean that it's false. Okay, for example, okay, the first one. Since the class has no questions, then the class is ready. Don't have this example. Yeah, here. Since you cannot prove that ghost does not exist, then they do exist. So since we cannot prove that ghosts does not exist, then they do exist. Okay? So this is the burden of proof is put to us. Okay. So instead of the claimer giving proof, so he pushes that to us. Okay. We need to show proof to the contrary. Okay. And this is committed, I think, regularly by people who may not be able to provide strong evidence, okay, to support their claim. Okay. So that the burden of proof is to the other party, okay, not on us. So committing the burden of proof. Okay, next. Okay, so these are basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 types of logical fallacies. Okay. And in the next class, ada question tak for that? Okay, in the next class, I want you to prepare example, at least one example from the real world on each of the logical of the. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have eight logical fallacies. Okay. This is a group work. Okay. Group work. I will write a proper announcement later on Teams. But each group needs to prepare one example from the real world. Okay, you need to provide evidence. For example, someone said this on Twitter. So you need to have a screenshot. You can remove the real name from that tweet. So if that is a person that you know, or if it's a public figure, for example, Donald Trump. So you can look at Donald Trump's tweets, okay, and you can pick, this is an example, okay. You can find sources from news articles, from blog posts, from comments made to a social media post, okay, about each of the logical policy. Okay? For example, red herring. Okay, red herring. Like I mentioned before, my friend actually commented on social media that Dr. Mazdi should actually focus on the teacher to student ratio instead of focusing on the swimming lesson issue on hotels. Okay. So if you have that, you can screenshot the comments or the URL. Okay. If it's a news article, the URL of the original news article. If it's a tweet, the link to that tweet, and also a screenshot of that tweet. That falls into all of the so one logical fallacy, one example, okay, from the real world. And if you look at accounts of politicians, I think you can have, or people who you think are kipas susah mati of a particular organization, party. Okay, he may commit one of these logical fallacies. Okay, so that is for next week. But I will send out a proper announcement later. Any question? Okay, before there's no question. Before I end class, I forgot to comment on this. So in the talk, one of the talk suggests this particular movie, The Invisible Guest, right? If you remember, so I actually watched this. I watched this movie and realized that I have actually watched it before. I just forget the name of the title of this movie. But still, I watched it till the end, to the second time. So I've already watched this movie sebenarnya. And then there's if you have the if you have time, this is also one documentary that I recommend you to watch. The Social Dilemma, available on Netflix. Available on Netflix. So if you find that you are hooked to your phone, you can't let your phone down, you always checking your social media account, you always scroll down to refresh the feed, okay, you can try watch this documentary on Netflix. It's called The Social Media. I haven't watched it to the end. Tak habis lagi, but I recommend, because the person that they interviewed previously worked with Google, they worked previously with Instagram, they worked with Twitter, they worked with Pinterest. Okay, so the person that they interviewed mostly came from the companies that made. So they were involved in Facebook. Okay, so how they want to keep you hooked to Facebook, for example. So the tactics that they use. Okay, how come these services are free? Okay, so, and of course, since this documentary has one purpose, so it's really biased, meaning that it talks about, it will talk about the negative sides of social media. Okay? Of course, social media has its positive sides as well, but it's something that I think would be useful to watch. Okay? If you have the time, if you have Netflix. And the other documentary that I recommend is Inside the Brain. The other documentary on Netflix that I also recommend. So it may motivate you to work harder, also to see Bill's view on the things that he did and he's doing at the moment. And just curious, okay, which version of Windows that you grew up with? I mean, what's the first version of Windows that you use? The one that you remember. You reply in the chat. Is it Windows? XP. Okay, XP. Right. Okay. So I grew up in the days of Windows 3.11. Is it? Yeah. So this was the interface that I have experience using. Okay, so Windows 3.11, and seeing it evolve to how it looks like right now. So it's, I think, pretty amazing. From this to now. Now it's what Windows. What version of Windows now? Windows 10. Is it? No, Windows 10. Okay lah. So I'll send out an announcement for you to do this logical policy. Because basically in the final exam, you need to identify whether this is red herring or is this appealing to fear, things like that. So it's a good exercise if you can identify these logical fallacies in the real world. Okay, is there any question? I'm not sure whether we're going to have an offline class or online class next week, but I will let you know in the announcement. So thank you very much for joining today's class, and stay tuned for my announcement. Okay. Thank you very much.